Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this month's hearing of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission. Today's date is May 7th, 2025, and the time is 5 o'clock p.m. I'm Kathy Pagani. I chair the commission. I would like to invite my fellow commission members to introduce themselves to you, beginning on my right, please.
Sonny Deason.
Jordan Morris.
David Nelson.
Thank you. And joining us from city staff this evening, we have Mr. Hudson Cheshire, who is the Associate City Attorney. We have Mr. Jonathan Bowen, who is the Zoning Administrator, Ms. Leota Coyne, Planner, and Mr. Kevin Jones is providing audiovisual support for us this evening. Before we move on to our applications, I'd like to go over the purpose and the procedures for this hearing. The general purpose of the Tuscaloosa Historic Preservation Commission is that we serve to preserve and protect the buildings, sites, and structures of historic significance in Tuscaloosa's historic neighborhoods. We are governed by Chapter 20, Article 2 of the Code of Tuscaloosa, which includes design guidelines that are posted on the city's website. Our decisions are based on these design guidelines and do not consider use or occupancy. We do consider such factors as architectural style, appropriateness of materials, and how the structure relates to other structures in the immediate neighborhood in determining the appropriateness of the application. An approval of an application requires 5 affirmative votes. If the certificate is approved, please be aware that there will be a final inspection by city staff of approved applications to ensure compliance with what was approved by the commission. This is a public hearing. It is televised live on local cable, streamed online through Facebook, and is being recorded to be posted on the city's website. We ask proper decorum, civility, and respect for others at all times. Prior to this meeting, notice was sent to adjacent property owners, and the public has been notified of the applications to be presented tonight. This hearing is a chance for the applicant to present his or her case, for the public to make their views known about the project, and for the commission members to gather relevant facts about the application before making its decision. City staff will begin by introducing the application. The applicant will then have a chance to make any comments. The commissioners will then have an opportunity to ask the applicant questions about the case, and then I will open the hearing for public comment. At the close of public comment, the commission will then discuss the matter and vote on the application. A notarized designation of agent form should have been provided to city staff for any representatives of an application that are not the property owner or immediate family member of the owner prior to tonight's hearing. Immediate family members, and we define that as a spouse, a parent, or a child, do not have to provide such written authorization when speaking on behalf of another immediate family member. We ask that you please leave the signs in your yard. City staff will be out in the next couple of days to pick them up. Commission members, as you have received the synopses of the April 2025 meeting, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the same unless there are deletions, additions, or corrections. Do I have a motion to approve said synopses?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And we will vote beginning on my right, please, Mr. Deason.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Dr. Yarbrough?
Yes.
And Dr.
Yes.
Nelson? Thank you very much. So that has passed. The commission members have had a chance to review tonight's agenda items. Do any of the members have a conflict of interest as defined by Section 6 of the commission bylaws with any of these items?
Yes.
And which case would that be, Dr. Nelson?
HPC 2725.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask staff if proper notification has been provided for each of the agenda items.
Yes, Commission, it
Great.
has.
Thank you very much. Well, let's move ahead to our first application.
Commission, before we move ahead with Dr. Nelson recusing himself, we will need to wait for Commissioner Young to arrive in order to be able to vote on HPC 2725. We'll need a motion and a second to move it on the agenda.
All right. So I would like to have a motion and a second to move HPC 2725 further down the agenda until Ms. Young arrives, and it will be the first case we'll hear after she gets here.
So moved.
And do I have a second? Is there a second? Thank you. And we will vote beginning on my left, please, Dr. Nelson.
Yes.
Dr. Yarbrough.
Yes.
Mr. Morris.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Deason.
Yes.
That motion has passed. So Mr. Vale, just hang on. We're waiting for another commission member to arrive, and as soon as she gets here, we'll take your case right away.
All right, Commission, we do have one case requesting to continue tonight. That is HPC 3025. This was continued by staff. Moving into our cases to be heard, we first have HPC 2825. Judith Rabel petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the removal and replacement of a path. This is in the front yard on the property located at 305 17th Avenue in the Pinehurst Historic District, Council District 4. Here's that property from above, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here's the subject property, the adjacent property to the north, to the east, and to the south. The proposal here, the petitioner would like to remove and replace the front walkway. The existing and proposed paths are both 20 by 6 feet. They're existing 40-inch by 37-inch stamp squares. Those are to remain. The main difference here is the existing path, is aggregate concrete. The proposed path is a smooth finish concrete. Here again is the primary structure, and here's that front walk we are looking at tonight. And this is just zooming in on the walk today. Again, the material is a smooth finish concrete. Here are applicable design guidelines. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
We have no questions, thank you. Let me invite the applicant to step forward, please. And if you could state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Judith Rabel. My address is 305 17th Avenue.
Ms. Rabel, is there anything more you'd like the commission to know about your application?
No, I think looking at that picture says it all.
And then the change from the aggregate to the smooth?
For the benefit of my feet.
Okay. Do the commission members have any questions for Ms. Rabel? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And you can have a seat. We've had no public comments submitted. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to this application? All right, let me close the floor to public comment and open the floor to discussion by commission members.
This is extremely straightforward, and I would probably say that at one point in time that was smooth concrete.
Very possibly. Any further comments? All right, let's, hearing no further comments, I take that as we have a motion, standing motion to approve HPC 2825. Judith Rabel petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the removal and replacement of a path in the front yard on the property located at 305 17th Avenue in the Pinehurst Historic District, Council District 4. We shall vote. Beginning on my right, please, Mr. Deason.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Dr. Yarbrough?
Yes.
And Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Ms. Rabel, your application has been approved. Should anything change, see city staff. Good luck with your project. There will be a final inspection.
All right, Commission, next up we have HPC 2925. Laura Welton petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the removal of an attached carport. This is on the property located at 721 Queen City Avenue in the 8th Street Historic District, Council District 4. Here's that property from above, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here's the subject property, the adjacent property to the south, to the north, and to the west. Moving into proposal, the petitioner would like to demolish an attached carport. They state that the rafters are not an adequate size for a carport roof and that a repair with appropriate size rafters would block the windows on the primary structure. There's no new construction proposed at this time. Once the carport's removed, they'll replace the cornice to match the existing home with wood soffit and fascia painted to match. And they'll also install a 6-inch seamless gutter and one downspout where the carport is removed. Here again is primary structure, and here is that carport to be removed. And here's some additional photos from the interior submitted by the petitioner. And this is that cornice that they'll be matching. Here's an example of a similar gutter on a nearby property. Again, the material is a gutter and wood. Here are applicable design guidelines for carports and our standards for rehab and alteration, starting with design character, repairing original features, replacing old features, existing alterations, and materials. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
We have none. Thank you very much. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to come forward, please. And we'll need you to state your name and address for the record, if you don't mind.
Laura Welton, 721 Queen City Avenue.
Ms. Welton, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the application?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do the commission members have any questions for the applicant? Well, thank you very much. You may have a seat. We've had no submitted comment. I'll open the floor to public comment here. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to the application? I'll close the floor to public comment and open the floor to discussion by the commission. Very straightforward application.
I can say, a friend of mine's parents lived in this house when I was in college, and it's obviously not original to the structure.
It's not, it was added in 1980. And
Oh, interesting. So hearing no further discussion about this, we have a standing motion to approve HPC 2925 Laura Welton petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the removal of an attached carport on the property located at 721 Queen City Avenue in the 8th Street Historic District, Council District 4. We shall vote. Beginning on my left, please, Dr. Nelson.
yes.
Dr. Yarborough.
Yes.
Mr. Morris.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Deason.
Yes.
Ms. Welton, your application has been approved. Should anything change, see city staff before you move forward. Good luck with your project, and just know that there will be a final inspection. Thank you for coming tonight.
All right, next up, we have HPC 3125, Virginia and Rich Houston, petition for a certificate of appropriateness for exterior alterations. This is on the property located at 24 Buena Vista in the Buena Vista Historic District, Council District 5. Here's that property from above, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here's the subject property, the adjacent property to the east and to the north. Moving into the proposal, the petitioner would like to modify the size and locations of windows on the north and west elevations of the home, due to proposed changes on the interior layout of the home. The existing and proposed windows are both aluminum-clad wood. The proposed siding is cedar shake to match existing, and there's no proposed changes to the front elevation of the primary structure. Here again is that primary structure. This is looking down the north or side elevation here from both ends of the house, and looking at the west or rear elevation here. Here's an example of an existing window on the home. Here again is the front elevation, no proposed changes here. You can see the existing on top, proposed on bottom. You can see moving around several windows, adding new windows, changing the size and location here, as well as on the west elevation or rear elevation of the home, again, changing the location of windows. The materials here, again, aluminum-clad wood windows and cedar shake siding to match existing. Here is a material spec. The complete spec was in the packet, so it's just a sample here. Here are applicable design guidelines for windows, window materials, standards for rehab and alteration, starting with design character, repairing original features, replacing old features, existing alterations, and materials. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
We have none, thank you. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to step forward, please. And would you mind stating your name and address for the record?
Liz Belk. I live at 2813 Northampton Drive. I'm the sister of Virginia Houston.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming tonight. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the commission about the application?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
She's
so-
very detailed, so she wants to make it right.
Right. Well, thank you. Do we have questions for Ms. Belk? Thank you very much. You may have a seat. So we've had no submitted public comment. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to this application? Then let me close the floor to public comment, and we'll move on to discussion by commission members. No changes to the front facade?
It doesn't appear that there was anything very deliberate about the pattern of the windows previously, so I have no opposition to this.
I would agree with that. Any other comments? We have a standing motion to approve HPC 3125 Virginia and Rich Houston petitioned for a certificate of appropriateness for exterior alterations on the property located at 24 Buena Vista in the Buena Vista Historic District, Council District 5. And we shall vote, beginning on my right, please, Mr. Deason.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes.
And Dr.
Yes.
Nelson? Thank you. Ms. Belk, please convey to your sister and her husband that the application has been approved. Should anything change, they need to talk to city staff before they move forward, and that there will be a final inspection. Thank you very much.
All right, Commission, next up is HPC 3225, T-Town Ventures LLC, petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for a design change to a previously approved certificate of appropriateness. This is on the property located at 2 Sherwood Drive in the Sherwood Drive Historic District, Council District 4. You can see this property from above here, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here is the subject property, the adjacent property to the east, to the south, and to the north. You all have seen this recently. As of November 2024, the petitioner was approved for an addition to the primary structure. With this approval, the windows were aluminum-clad wood on the addition. Petitioner is proposing a material change to PVC windows on the addition. On the existing structure, the windows are wood. They are not proposing any changes to the windows on the existing primary structure. Additionally, they'd like to modify the location of doors and windows on the addition you all approved, as well as adding 1 new window and modifying a breezeway. So as we look here, again, at the primary structure and getting into our elevations here, you can see on that front facade, there are no changes proposed. As we move around to the west elevation, you can see the location of a window and door shifting slightly from the November application. You can see here on the north elevation that breezeway is expanded in the proposal today, as well as on the final side here, you can see 1 new window added, as well as the door and that expanded breezeway moving. Again, the material is a PVC window. Here are the material specs, the complete specs are in the packet. Here are applicable design guidelines for additions, windows, window materials, entrances and doorways, entrance and doorway materials, standards for rehab and alteration, which is very popular tonight, so I won't go through that one again. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
It appears we have none. Thank you very much. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to step forward, please. And we'll need you to state your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Commission. My name is Nathan Gordeau. My address is 5615 Union Chapel Terrace, Northport.
Thank you. Is there anything in addition you'd like to tell the commission about this application?
I don't really have anything except for the owner just wanted to use a different type of material, window with a different material. And then as far as the movement of the structure, we had some issues during construction. Had to push the whole structure back just a little bit, which moved the 1 door just a little bit. That's it.
Do the commission members have any questions for Mr. Godot? Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
We've had no submitted public comment. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to the application? Then let me close the floor to public comment and open the floor to discussion by the commission. The change in materials to the windows on the addition, we've approved that material in the past. The changes on location of windows and doors and opening the breezeway a little wider are not anything substantive, in my opinion. Are there any other comments or discussion points?
Straightforward to me.
We have a standing motion to approve HPC 3225 T-Town Ventures LLC petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for design change to a previously approved certificate of appropriateness on the property located at 2 Sherwood Drive in the Sherwood Drive Historic District, Council District 4. We shall vote. Dr. Nelson, please.
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. And Mr. Deason?
Yes.
And Mr. Godot, please let your client know that the application has been approved this evening. Should anything else change, please see city staff before you proceed. There will be a final inspection. and good luck with the project.
All right, next up, we have HPC 3325, Nathan Gerdeau petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for a material change to the windows and the replacement of doors. This is on the property located at 17 Sherwood Drive in the Sherwood Drive Historic District, Council District 4. Here's that property from above, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here's the subject property, the adjacent property to the north, to the south, and to the west. Like the previous application, you all saw this at the June 2024 meeting. The petitioner was approved for an addition to the primary structure. With this approval, the windows were aluminum-clad wood for that addition. Now, looking at the existing primary structure, the petitioner would like to replace all windows with aluminum-clad wood. The existing windows are wood. They are not proposing any changes to the addition. The petitioner is also proposing to remove and replace all doors. The front door will change from a single door with 2 side lights to a French door. This will be solid mahogany. The other exterior doors will be in aluminum-clad material. Here again is the subject property. And looking around all the elevations of the home, you can see that front door change here. The material specs shown on the right, that change to a French door. Moving around the various elevations here, you can see all those windows and doors to be replaced. Moving through these. Again, the material is aluminum-clad wood, windows and doors, for that typo, as well as a wood door. Moving into the specs here, you can see all the proposed windows here and those proposed doors as well. Here are applicable design guidelines for windows, window materials, entrances and doorways, and entrances and doorway materials. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
We have none. Thank you very much. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to come forward, please. And gentlemen, if you don't mind stating your name and address for the record, please.
Kosi Lipsker, 17 Sherwood Drive, Tuscaloosa.
Nathan Gerdeau, 5615 Union Chapel Terrace, Northport.
Thank you very much. Commission members, do you have any questions for the applicant? Anything else you'd like us to know? Replacing all of the windows, is there an issue with the wood windows or?
They're single pane, they're rotting.
Okay.
Got to get them upgraded.
Are there any further questions? Well, thank you very much. You may have a seat.
Thank you.
We've had no submitted comment. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to this application? Then let me close the floor to public comment and open up the floor to discussion by commission members.
I think more consistency across the entire structure with the windows is a step in the right direction.
Any further comments? We have a standing motion to approve HPC 3325, Nathan Gerdeau petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for material change to the windows and the replacement of doors on the property located at 17 Sherwood Drive in the Sherwood Drive Historic District, Council District 4, and we shall vote. Mr. Deason?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Dr. Yarbrough?
Yes.
And Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Gerdeau and Mr. Lipsker, your application has been approved. Should anything change, please see city staff before you move forward. There will be a final inspection, and good luck with the project. Thank you.
All right, Commission, next up we have HPC 3425, Peggy Williams petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the construction of a fence. This is in the front yard of the property located at 1 Oakwood Court in the Oakwood Court Historic District, Council District 4. You can see that property from above here, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here's the subject property, the adjacent property to the east, to the south, and to the north, and one more to the west. The proposal here, the petitioner would like to construct a wooden picket fence in the front yard of the property. This will be painted white. At the post caps, the fence will be 53 inches tall. At the lowest point, it'll be 43 inches. A 3-foot gate will be installed at the front walkway. Along 16th Avenue, the fence will be about 107 feet, and along Oakwood Court, about 55 feet in length. Here again is the subject property. Here's that site plan. You can see the location of the fence, as well as just for the commission, these are two, it's not cooperating with me tonight, but these are two historic markers that already exist there, as you see when we'll get into the photos. Here is that proposed fence, and here are those historic markers I mentioned. This is just some contextual photos kind of standing in the intersection of 16th and Oakwood of the surrounding properties. The material, again, is wood. Here are applicable design guidelines for fences and walls and materials. We did receive one public comment in opposition to this petition. Do you have any questions for staff?
Do we, in the application, do we have the distance between the fence posts?
Yes, I apologize, I forgot to put it up there. It is 10 feet between posts, except for, let me get back to that site plan, where it meets with those historic markers where it's labeled 9 feet. That'll be needed in order to adapt around the existing structures. So 10 feet, unless
Right.
otherwise noted.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for city staff? Thank you very much. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative step forward, please. And we'll need your name and address for the record, if you don't mind.
It's Wesley Jones, 14719 Sawmill Road, Coker, Alabama.
So could we see what the proposed fence will look like, that slide? There we go. What would you like to tell us, first of all, about the application?
Like I said, we've done some previous work to this house. This was a vision they had in the beginning and didn't know if they wanted to do it or not. Since they've moved in and been there for a while, the walking traffic with the dogs and the dogs using the bathroom in their yard. They've got people just walking in their yard. They've got them on camera looking in their windows. So they're just wanting to do this to kind of secure their yard because their daughter lives here and they live in Georgia out of town.
Well, I have another question for you. So when we look at this image here with the pickets and the fence posts, these are not 10 feet apart. So what will the proposed fence actually look like? Will it be the same number of pickets? How many pickets will there be? How far apart are they going to be?
Yeah, the posts will be 10 feet apart, and then, of course, we will do the pickets, evenly across between the 10-foot. So, yes, that one's not 10 foot, but that was the picture she provided to me of her vision.
Right, so how far apart will the pickets be? I just wanted to get an idea, are you using the same number of pickets as you would here, and they'd be spread out further, or are you using the same density, so we'd have more pickets? I just want to get a good sense of what this is going to look like.
I would say we should be about, our pickets are going to be about 3.5 inches in width, so we should continue that 3.5 inches with the gaps and all the way through. Might have to tweak it just depending on how that falls out. I'm not doing the math as quickly with that question, but we should be pretty close somewhere right there with, between 3 and 4 inches with everything. Okay. So everything's evenly spaced across.
Are there other questions? It appears we have no other questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. We've had one comment submitted in opposition to this application. Is there anyone present who would like to speak in support of or opposition to this application? Then let me close the floor to public comment, and we'll open the floor to discussion by commission members.
Contextually, this is one of the areas where there are a few front yard fences down Oakwood Avenue. I know that we have a couple of houses that have them.
Can we see the neighborhood photos again, if you don't mind? For me, just because I don't see fences on the adjacent properties, I'm thrown off by this fence, but that's just me.
Could you repeat that comment?
Oh.
I was just saying that there are a couple of front yard fences down Oakwood Avenue.
Okay.
And then I just said that I don't see any on any adjacent properties, and so that's affecting how I'm viewing this fence.
Yeah, I've noticed it. There's two on, and they're not, they don't have fences adjacent on Oakwood. Mm-hmm. One's brick and metal, and one's stucco. So.
Can we go back to the photo that shows the number of pickets again? The hypothetical. Is that 12?
Well, and Dr. Nelson, when we spoke with Mr. Jones, he was saying that will probably be the density of those pickets, but those fence posts will be 10 feet apart,
So my math puts like maybe closer to 20.
probably.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, if I did my math right.
Right.
So it'll be a different,
Yes, yes. Which, looking at this and hearing the other comments, is not necessarily a bad thing. Spreading it, having the dip a little bit more gradual, I suppose, and the fence posts a little farther apart.
this fence shows the finished side showing inwards, correct? Or is we're looking at what should be facing outside, is that right?
Yes, the finished side should be facing
Out.
outside.
And this shows the finished in?
Right. Let's see. Mr. Jones, do you have a second to come back up? Just a quick question for you. That was a good observation, just to make sure we've got clarification on this.
Yes, he is correct. We'll have the finished side out.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we confirmed that with you.
Yes.
On the record. Are there any other questions? Dr. Nelson, do you have anything else for Mr. Jones? All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Any further questions or comments? All right, moving on. We have a standing motion to approve HPC 3425 Peggy Williams petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the construction of a fence in the front yard on the property located at 1 Oakwood Court in the Oakwood Court Historic District, Council District 4. We shall vote beginning on my left, please. Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Dr. Yarbrough?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Deason?
Yes.
And Mr. Jones, please let the applicant know that this application has passed this evening. Should anything change, the density of those pickets or anything else, please see city staff before you move on. There will be a final inspection, and good luck with your project.
All right, Commission, next up, we have HPC 3525, Mary Lopez petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for a material change to the windows. This is on the property located at 17 Oakwood Court in the Oakwood Court Historic District, Council District 4. Here's that property from above, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here's the subject property, the adjacent property to the west and to the east. The proposal here, they would like to remove and replace wood windows with PVC windows. Petitioner did state they are rotted. There's no proposed changes to size or light pattern. Here again is the primary structure, and just moving around through various photos of the existing windows. Again, the material is PVC. Here are the specs on those windows. Here are applicable design guidelines for windows. Window materials. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
We have no questions, thank you. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to step up. And if you wouldn't mind stating your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Wesley Jones, 14719 Sawmill Road, Coker, Alabama.
Mr. Jones, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the application?
It's not a lot. Like I said, they're rotten. They're single pane. They're rotten. Our customer just purchased a house, so they're looking to keep it for a while. So we're doing some maintenance-free PVC windows to try to help out there. So other than that, that's it.
Any questions for Mr. Jones? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've had no submitted comment. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to this application? Then let me close the floor to public comment and open the floor to discussion by commission members. Very straightforward application. All right, hearing no comments, we have a standing motion to approve HPC 3525, Mary Lopez petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for material change to the windows on the property located at 17 Oakwood Court in the Oakwood Court Historic District, Council District 4. Voting, Mr. Deason.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes.
And Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones, please let the applicant know that the application has been approved. Should there be any changes, let city staff know before you move ahead. There will be a final inspection, and good luck with the project.
All right, Commission, next up is HPC 3625. Alice Maxwell petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the installation of a sign and the replacement of an awning. This is on the property located at 1818 University Boulevard in the Druid City Historic District, Council District 1. Here's that property from above, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here is the subject property, the adjacent property to the west and to the east. The proposal here, the petitioner would like to raise the existing metal light fixtures to the top of the facade in order to install new aluminum signage. It's about 2 feet, 8 inches by 15 feet, 3 3/4 inches. They would also like to remove and replace the awning with this umbrella material using the existing frame. On this awning, they'll install a 6-inch by about 10.5 feet vinyl letter sign on that awning. So here again is the subject property. Here is that proposed signage. You can see kind of the detail on that wall signage here and on the awning signage on this slide. And to zoom in, here's what that final product would look like. Again, the material is aluminum wall sign and vinyl lettering on the awning. Here are applicable design guidelines for awnings, awning materials, signs, and sign materials. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
And just to make sure we're clear, the sign on the facade of the building are individual metal letters that are applied?
That is our understanding. The applicant can confirm. You can see here on the right side, it's showing as channel letters to be installed. And again, sorry, the drawing is fighting me tonight.
That's okay. Thank you for alerting us to that. No other questions, thank you. Let me invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to step forward, please. And if you could state your name and address for the record, please, both of you.
My name is Alice Maxwell, and the address is 1818 University Boulevard, Keller Williams.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Harcrow with Night Sign Industries, 5959 Knight Avenue. That's Tuscaloosa, 35405.
Thank you very much. So the one question I have is that the wording on the sign, the amount of wording on the main sign is what is required by the company, is that correct?
That is correct. The KW Tuscaloosa is required by Keller Williams International.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the sign? It seems fairly straightforward. I don't know that we have any other questions for you. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming. There was no submitted public comment. Is there anyone here to speak in support of or opposition to the application? Then let me close the floor to public comment and open the floor up to discussion by the commission members. Hearing no discussion? We have a standing motion to approve HPC 3625. Alice Maxwell petitions for certificate of appropriateness for the installation of a sign and replacement of an awning on the property located at 1818 University Boulevard in the Druid City Historic District. Council District 1, we shall vote. Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Dr. Yarborough?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Deason?
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell, your application has been approved tonight. Should anything change, please see city staff before you proceed. There will be a final inspection, and good luck with the project. And that brings us back to our very first case for this evening on the agenda. Because Dr. Nelson will recuse himself, we will not have quorum. And therefore,
I would recommend if the commission wants to go into recess and we kind of regroup and figure out, because I don't believe we have a petitioner in here at the moment either.
and so we will recess for how long?
Would you make a motion to go into recess?
I will make a motion to go into recess. Do I have a second?
Second.
We will vote. Let's see, Dr. Yarborough?
Uh, I-
Well, I guess. Dr. Nelson, Dr. Yarborough, Mr. Morris? I vote yes. Mr. Deason?
Yes.
All right, so,
Do you want to reconvene in 10 minutes?
all right, we'll give it 10 minutes. All right, thank you. 10 minutes, we'll reconvene to hear the final case. And that will be at 5:50 PM. Sorry, 5:50. I would like to suggest or propose that we have another 10-minute extension of that recess. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Thank you, and we will vote. Mr. Deason? I vote yes. Mr.
Yes.
Morris? Dr. Yarbrough?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
All right, we have extended our recess 10 more minutes, awaiting the arrival of our other commission member. All right, so everybody So let the record show that Dr. Nelson has recused himself from this portion of the hearing and that Mary Harmon Young has just joined the commission hearing. Ms. Coyne, let's go.
David Vale petitions for a certificate of appropriateness for the construction of a fence in the rear yard. This is on the property located at 412 17th Avenue in the Pinehurst Historic District. This is Council District 4. Here's that property from above, as well as where it's situated in its historic district. Here's the subject property, the adjacent property to the south. The proposal here, the petitioner would like to construct a fence in the rear yard. The proposed fence material is a galvanized double loop wove wire that is 4 feet tall. The fence will be supported by 1.5-inch galvanized posts spaced approximately 8 feet apart. The vertical post will have a fence loop cap, and a 1 3/8-inch horizontal galvanized top rail will be installed at approximately 40 inches above ground. Fence will span approximately 78 feet. Here again is the subject property. You can see the location of the fence identified on this survey here. Here's that proposed fence material and the posts and top rail. Here's all three together. Material again is a galvanized double loop wove wire, galvanized post, and galvanized top rail. Here are applicable design guidelines for fences and walls and materials. We did receive one public comment in opposition to this petition. Do you have any questions for staff?
This fence is just running along the one side of the property, correct?
Sorry, excuse me.
The fence is running along one side of the property.
Correct. Let me get back to the site plan here.
Right.
So you can see in that highlighted area, it's going to run along that one segment there.
Mm-hmm. Any questions for staff? Thank you very much. Let me invite the applicant to step forward, please. And if you don't mind stating your name and address for the record. Thank you. And we have show and tell as well. Thank you.
Okay. May I just read?
Well, name and address first.
David Vale, and I live at 412 17th Avenue, Tuscaloosa.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Vale.
Okay. I'm here to request your approval to construct a side yard fence along a section of my south property line. The proposed fence would run west to east from the University Club block wall to an existing chain link fence. That fence is perpendicular to my property line and runs to the back corner of my house, and that chain link fence delineates my backyard. The proposed fence is an approved double-looped wire fencing which stands 48 inches and would run approximately 78 feet. Supporting those posts, supporting the fence would be 8 vertical steel posts, and this represents one of the vertical posts, and they would be spaced approximately 8 feet apart on my property line. At the top of each post would be a ring cap to support a steel rail, top rail. That top rail would pass through the ring cap and run the full length of the proposed fence. The historically appropriate wire fence would be affixed to the outside of the 9-post and top rail, and the bottom of the fence would be stapled to terra firma on my property with these staples, which would pin the fence at the bottom of my property. And so that's a description of the project.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Vale right now? Well, Mr. Vale, have a seat. I think.
I'm ready to answer any questions you might have.
Can we go back to the site plan for a second? There we go. So the chain link fence
Yeah.
that exists
This is
already.
I sent an image to Leota,
Mhm.
similar to that, but it depicts the actual, that, I was showing Jonathan the property line in question in general. The fence that I propose does not come all the way down to the corner of the corner house and house number 5 and 6. It stops about 3/4 of the way down the property line of house number 5.
Okay. And then the chain link fence you mentioned
Yes.
is the rest of that length?
No, the chain link fence runs perpendicular to my house, which is centered in the
Oh, I see.
lot.
I understand now.
And
Yes.
Beyond that point is, I consider it my side yard, and it's kind of a conflict zone because Dr. Pania has 2 pit bull security dogs in his property, and if I allowed my dogs access to my side yard, they would just be bickering through the fence all the time.
Sure.
So the chain link fence would confine my dogs to my backyard.
Okay, so that chain link is running from the is running perpendicular
It's
to that side yard towards your house?
Correct.
Okay.
And that chain link fence has been there since I was a young man.
Right.
60 years ago.
Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that for me. So I was trying to get a picture of this.
But
Are there any other questions for Mr.?
This represents depth. This represents my property, the ground level.
And that's the height?
And the
Okay.
double hoop fence would come up, the architectural part of it would be about like that.
And can we go to a picture of the proposed fencing material?
Oh, yeah. The top rail would run in that last grid of square space. Yeah, just below that, or it's kind of arbitrary, but in that zone.
Okay.
Where it would be supportive of the top.
All right, so the loop is extending above that?
Yes, ma'am.
Top member there?
Yeah, the loops would be like up here, according to my calculations.
Okay. Well, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Vale? All right, we have no other further questions right now, but we may bring you back up if something arises.
This evening, or?
No,
later?
yeah, this evening, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, as we sort of move through this.
Do you
Yeah,
have
so
any questions for me?
it appears we have no other questions right now. We might. So have a seat, and then we'll just sort of move through, and if something else pops up, we'll bring you over.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I wanted to thank Jonathan and his coworker for helping me navigate through all this.
Yeah, we have.
He's been very gracious and
We have a good
respectful.
team here. Thank you, and thank you, city staff, for helping our applicants. So we've had one submitted comment in opposition. Let me open the floor to any other public comment, either to speak in support of or opposition to, and please come up, state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Tricia Stone, 20 Pinehurst Drive. I hear fences in Pinehurst, and I have to come running. My issue is not with Mr. Vale's need for privacy or security. It's more about how we interpret this fence as the materials. The posts are not historical wire to me. They look like galvanized steel for a chain link fence. I assume the color is going to be white, but that was not stated in the application. And the guidelines just say historical wiring, and I know we've talked about this before. To me, that's kind of very open-ended, because historical wiring can be, what does that mean? Old wire, wire that was used in a rural setting, wire that's used in an urban setting. So it just seems to me that there's some clarification that's missing in both the guidelines and the application. And I do appreciate that Mr. Vail brought the materials he did for the post, but I would say that I would hope the commission would consider maybe postponing this to get a little bit more clarification on what is historical wiring, because that's all it says in the guidelines. And do these posts resemble too much chain link, which is not an approved material? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else here to speak in support of or opposition to the application?
Excuse me, I know that I'm not allowed to rebut.
You may. Would you like to come up to the podium? You're allowed a short rebuttal if you like. Yes, you need to come back up. You can just leave or bring your things.
When I said, David Vail, when I said the historical wire, I had to have it approved by the city, which is what they called appropriate, the double hooped wire. I had initially put up just commercial wire, was unacceptable, and I took it down. And then I had this wire approved by the city. And I have the document. The timeline was several months ago that occurred. And with regard to the chain link fence, that chain link fence was put up in, my father was in Korea, 1961 was when that chain link fence section was there. So it's been there forever.
For a long time.
As long as I can remember.
Thank you.
What was the other issue she had?
It was the fence posts being very similar to something we see with chain link.
These were the posts that were mandated that I had to use.
Who mandated that?
I initially had what is called T-post, which I guess would be considered more of an agricultural product. And if you can scan through the manifesto photos, there is an image that was sent to me by the city that is exactly what I have proposed here. Do you have more images that you sent to me? I have it on my phone, but that wouldn't help.
We'll look through previous application as far as the pictures that were submitted for this request.
It was on the previous application.
We'll look through the previous
But it
application to see what we
shows
can pull up.
this chain link stock supporting a historically accepted wire, and it looks just like what I've shown you.
And that is just from a website. Is that correct? That's on a website that you saw?
It's on images that, may I show you the image on my phone?
Sure. Let me just ask city staff quickly.
It was actually sent to me by the city for compliance. Okay, if I can find it.
Would city staff like to
We'll look through our
provide any
records.
clarification? Okay,
and see
yeah,
what we can
but Mr. Vail, if you want to show us the picture, that would be, if you want to show it to us, that's fine, and then we can continue to discuss this.
Okay, excuse me,
When you
Let
had
me
said it
back
was
up here.
these posts were mandated, I just wanted to know who mandated and said this is what you had to
Sure,
use.
and I hope that it's in with that. But, it was sent to me by Jonathan, so But I don't know that he, I'm sorry, scrolling down, don't want to miss it. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Bell, would you like to have a seat?
I had it a while ago, and
What we have to go on, excuse me, as we consider this application, what we have to go on is what was submitted with the application now.
okay. I guess that's not going
Yeah, just to clarify, so there was a lot of communication regarding this fence. Just brief history, previous fence was denied. There was an expedited approval that was issued. The fence is built, did not match what staff thought the intention of the fence. We reached out as staff to send options about what the fence was supposed to look like. That ultimately resulted in us being here tonight. So there may have been some miscommunication between staff and the applicant, but what is before you tonight is a fence that is presented.
And just to be clear, talking to the Office of Counsel, and for those who are watching and will see this recording, we consider this as a new application, and the commission treats it as such.
That's correct.
Thank you. All right.
I was looking at it a while ago, and now I can't find it.
Well, if you, feel free to have a seat, and if you see it, let us know. What I know from my position here is that we look at this with what is submitted. This is what we consider. If we have any other questions, I'll ask you to come back up.
I beg pardon?
If we have any other questions, I'll invite you back up. All right, so I've closed the floor to public comment and opened the floor to discussion by commission members. Comments?
The center photo is kind of what I picture when I picture the wire that's described. But it doesn't have posts and rails even in this image. And I can't think of where this is used like a mesh fabric, as opposed to it's usually self-supporting. Whether that meets the need or not here, I think is immaterial to our decision. The appearance is really what we're after as far as how it typically would be installed.
Let me just comment. I just want to comment on the fence posts because that galvanized steel is something that we see connected to chain link fencing, right? And when we look at design guidelines that say chain link fences are not among the approved materials, it's not just the chain link itself, but it's the totality of the chain link and the supports. And I think these supports in this case speak too much to chain link fencing as an unapproved material, and particularly in the context of this fence, I don't think it works with the well, first of all, the fence posts are not an approved material, and I do have some questions over the fencing material itself as well. However, we define historic wire fencing is kind of in a way immaterial here. It's really about the context and where a fence like this would be appropriate. And I need convincing that this is appropriate for the Pinehurst Historic District with those fence posts.
Well, I think we need to also look ahead. If somebody comes in with a chain link fence, it's almost going to be, want to put a chain link fence in. If we let part of the chain link fence in, then I don't know, that may open us up for something down the road.
Well, there is always the concern about precedent as well. But, you know, we do look at each case individually, but there are some issues with that. Absolutely. Any other comments?
I think it looks very similar in some ways to chain link, especially once we see the supportive materials.
I would agree, the posts look like chain link to me.
So we have, the option is to vote on this right now. All right. The standing motion is to approve it. If you don't feel that this is appropriate, the vote is no, and we would appreciate you stating the reason why. All right. So we have before us a standing motion to approve HPC 2725 David Vale petitions for certificate of appropriateness for the construction of a fence in the rear yard on the property located at 412 17th Avenue in the Pinehurst Historic District, Council District 4. And we will vote. Dr. Yarborough.
I vote no. The fence posts look too much like chain link to me, and I'm a little unclear about the wire and how if it's used in the right spot.
Same comment related to the posts and the rails being not associated with the historical wire type.
And so that was a no vote.
That is a no vote.
Yes. I too vote no. I have an issue with the fence posts being a chain link type fence post, not an approved material. I also don't think that that particular historic wire fence is appropriate in that particular context. So that was a no. Mr. Deason.
I'll have to vote no because it's, I think the fence post really kind of throws it, makes it that much more inappropriate to me. The wire, I could probably live with it, but I don't know that I could. The only place I've ever seen that is around cemeteries or something.
And Ms. Young.
No, because I believe the posts look too much like the chain link.
All right. So, Mr. Vale, I'm sorry, your application has not passed this evening. City staff can help you navigate the next steps in determining, an application to come before us with another proposal. I know it's disappointing. The result is not what you were hoping for. But please talk to city staff and they'll help you with this.
All right, Commission, other business, we've had 7 expedited approvals since our previous meeting.
Thank you. And with that, this hearing is adjourned.